Well, hi, and thanks for joining me. A few weeks ago I did a video about the bridges here at Runcorn, Widnes and Runcorn technically, and I'll leave a link to it in the usual place up top in case anybody's interested. So today I have come back to Widnes, and I've come back to explore an area which I would have done on that original video had I not been so flipping hot. And this area, particularly interesting to me. Historically, 19th and 20th century, full of history down here, and even some interesting history for you pop fans. I'm standing actually at the entrance to what would have been the Sankey Canal, which when it was constructed joined Widnes here through to St Helens and beyond, and specifically the area over to my right is known as Spike Island. Now Spike Island, it makes me feel like saying, "Ha ha, Jim lad," something out of Treasure Island. Spike Island is a man-made island, and it was constructed when they drove the Sankey Canal through here. So it split off the old marshland area and created an island which was perfect for industrial development. And the building to my left, which is now known as Catalyst, which is a sort of science education and museum centre. Catalyst used to be the administrative head office for John Hutchinson. Now John Hutchinson is known as the father of Widnes, and he built his chemical works down here in 1848, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But this area here, he quickly developed into a hugely busy industrial site for chemical manufacture. It's all gone now. It was cleared, I think, in the 1970s from memory. And it is now a lovely nature park and a great place to come and walk. So we're now actually going to cross the, well, it looks like one of two locks that would have been allowing access into and out of the canal. I'll just let you have a look where I am. So in that direction, you'd be looking towards St Helens and beyond. And then from here, looking down, that's the entrance into the River Mersey. Now the island here was constructed in 1833, so it sort of predates John Hutchinson's chemical works, but nevertheless, it's fascinating because it's the site of the world's very first ship-to-rail dock. So down here, they could have brought in ships off the Mersey or from the canal and transshipped goods, whether it be coal or any kind of commodity. They would have been able to transship them off the boat straight onto railway carriages, or vice versa, of course. Coal wagons could be brought in by rail, offloaded onto boats, and then the boats could have gone straight up towards Liverpool. I've come out with the Olympus Pan F, the 12mm f2 Rockinon, and the 60mm Sigma, which I think is also f2. Can't remember. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And while I'm down here at the locks, I'm going to do some shots straight away and then take you for a bit of a walk around the actual Spike Island site and show you the remains of the old dock and an interesting location where a certain pop band held a concert in the 1990s, which I'll tell you about in a little while. So moving just a little bit further sort of to the right of the canal entrance, we have that there, which is the entrance which would have led into the basin here, the Widnes Basin, which is where they could accommodate, I think, up to about 40, mainly Mersey flats, the flat bottom boats that used to navigate the river so well. And this is where they would have transshipped from the railway wagons into the boats. It's rather low after all the dry weather that we've experienced, and of course it's now landlocked. Oh, just put my cap back on the right way around. I love these caps, but you have to keep flipping them when you're taking photos. Glorious day, by the way, absolutely glorious. So, John Hutchinson, the father of Widnes, all of this area would have been filled with chemical works. They manufactured things like soap, pesticides, quite nasty stuff, to be honest with you. And Widnes itself was heavily polluted in the late 19th and first part of the 20th century. And it wasn't until this area closed down and was cleared that it really sort of began to take off again. And it really is lovely down here now. They've done a fantastic job. But in, I think it was early 19th century, 1905, I think, somebody wrote that it was a hellhole of a town because of all the pollution. It was regarded as one of the most polluted and dangerous towns in the country in which to work. Hope I haven't been too much in silhouette there. I just realised the sun was right behind me. Lots of people out walking dogs and things. So now we're going to go and find a spot where a certain band played in 1990. So in 1990 we had another long hot summer back then, and England had high hopes of winning the Football World Cup again. We didn't, of course, but we had hopes. But this area here, behind the camera, and when I pan you around, this is the area where the Manchester band Stone Roses held their seminal concert in 1990. very popular band at the time. And in the 90s, Manchester was like the centre of the pop universe, certainly as far as the United Kingdom was concerned. And since then, it has featured in a comedy film, I believe, called Spike Island, which is about a fictitious wannabe band paying tribute to the Stone Roses. So I've done a few close-ups of the old basin with both the 12mm Rockinon and the 60mm Sigma. What I try and do with both these lenses is to isolate a subject. Well, you've either got to isolate it or encompass it in the environment. So you probably see a mixture of both. Clearly, the stonework that I'm walking on are foundations of some of the old chemical works. I mean, this in front of the camera now would appear to be some sort of base for a crane or a tower of some description. I'm thinking more crane, and that's because we are right next to the canal. So that's going to be my next port of call. I've just been informed by one of the local men working on his own boat that high tide is supposed to be in about an hour, when many of these boats will presumably refloat. But between now and then, I'm going to take some shots of that one, LL12 for sure. I mean, a couple of these look like they haven't been upright for many, many years. But interesting subjects photographically. I'm just going to walk on down back towards the lock gates to start off with, because I like that yacht in the distance, the very end one, which is keeled over on its side. I love the angle of that one, and I'm hoping with the 60mm should be able to get a nice composition there. There we are, you can see the Mersey Gateway Bridge in the far distance. And despite the huge amount of industry that was on this site, it was cleared in the 60s, 70s, I think. And now the only two remaining structures are these, which are two pyrites kilns. Oh, it's fabulous finding things like that, you know. I mean, I knew they were here. I hadn't sort of discovered them, but for me to actually get here and photograph them, it's a bit of a treat for me. I'm sure some of you will be thinking, why bother? which is fair comment, absolutely fair comment. If you do visit, there's not an awful lot of industrial archaeology left. As I've probably already said, the two Pyrites kilns are the only two standing structures. The rest of it is like foundations, like I'm leaning up against here. Immediately beyond me is the canal, the Sankey Canal. But the area behind the camera in front of me would have been full of railway sidings up until the 1960s, I think. British Rail used it as storage area and the whole area was filled with them. And then of course it was cleared away and converted into this rather lovely public space. Excellent, really good. If anybody came to that concert in 1990, the Stone Roses concert, please let me know, because from what I can gather it was a great success, although quite poorly organised, I think might be the best way to describe it. I know at one stage, because the incoming tide was so high, the authorities were concerned that the area might actually flood. I don't think that happened, but nevertheless they did put a warning out to the organisers. Fun times for those that were here, I am sure. Well now, as you can see, the Pen F fits perfectly in the new K&F concept. Little shoulder bag, waist bag, call it whatever you want. Together with the Pocket 3 and a couple of lenses, perfect. I love the combination. The 12mm is a focal length that I'd been missing. And now that I've got it, okay, it looks a little bit chunky on the Pen F, I grant you that. But my goodness me, I love the perspective that it gives me. The 60mm Sigma, lovely sharp little lens. Even though it does rattle when it's not switched on. Oh, goodness me. Okay, time for me to quit waffling and have a wander back towards the river, towards the canal and the entrance to the river, to see what's going on with the tide, whether it's risen any. I doubt it will have done enough yet, but we'll see. Well, as you can see, the river level has risen quite a lot. These 4 boats in the dinghy, 5 boats in the dinghy are now floating. I don't think I'm going to be here long enough to actually see the force of water open these lock gates that I'm standing on. I believe the Catalyst Centre is closed at the moment, but we're going to go and have a look. There's a couple of those modern sculptures outside which might make an interesting composition for me. So we're going to have a look at these sculptures immediately outside Catalyst, because I've got a feeling that with the 12mm rocking on, I can make something out of them, photographically that is. I'm thinking this one in front of me with the, what are they, molecules, atoms? Maybe if I frame the Catalyst Museum behind it with a 12mm, yeah, I think that's going to make quite a strong composition. Probably upright format, I don't know, upright or square I'm guessing. So let's give that a go. I did quite like that one. And then the other one that's taken my eye are these, oh gosh, what are they? Dodecahedrons, something like that. Yep, I think we're gonna have some go at these. They're climbing cubes, aren't they? Climbing shapes. That's fascinating. No, I'm not gonna have a go before anybody asks. But some great shapes in there. Colours are a bit faded, but so I'm going to take 3 or 4 again with the 12mm rocking on. See what we get. So from a very warm Catalyst Science Education and Museum Centre, sadly closed, but from here I'm going to say I've had a great time. I hope you've enjoyed some of the footage and also some of the stills. They'll probably be up to or down to my usual standard. Please feel free to leave a comment. I love hearing from you all, and I do try and answer everybody's comments as quickly as I can. Can't always do it, but you know, one tries one's best, as they say. But for now, from Widnes, I'm going to make my way back to the bus and then home so I can start editing all this stuff together for you. Enjoy your photography, everybody, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye for now.